Alright everybody, here it is. Finally done with this thing. Let's walk around it so you can kind of get a 360 view. Paint is done. It's actually powder coat. The color is Laser Emerald from Prismatic Powders. That was done by Competition Coatings in Glendale, and I'm very happy with how that turned out. You can see me in the reflection. It's 3-stage powder coat, so it's primed. I think he said he sanded it, then they coated it, then they cleared it. A lot's changed since you guys last saw it, but let's refresh everybody's mind on what actually has been done to this Honda Rebel. Starting with the wheels, these are Excel Takasago lightweight rims. They're larger in diameter and narrower than the original Rebel wheels. They've been laced to the original hubs using custom spokes from Buchanan Spokes. Tires are Shinko SR241 vintage style trials tires, because they look cool. Headlight is a Bates style headlight from Dime City, and the tail light is also the counterpart to that. It's the Bates style tail light from Dime City. The license plate bracket, since we're back here, this is from eBay. I forget the name of the person that makes those, but they have a store where they make a variety of different license plate brackets. This particular one bolts to the axle. I like it. It does its job, but it is a pain in the ass to work with, because if you want to remove it, you have to loosen the actual axle, which I'm not a huge fan of. Tail light is bolted to that bracket using a custom aluminum mount that I just cut and drilled some holes in. Looks perfect from behind. You don't even really notice it. Tail light wire I've redone. Originally I had it running on the outside of the swing arm and I didn't like how it looked, so it has been replaced with some vintage appliance style wrapped cable. So it's a fabric wrapped 3-wire cord. It runs up the back of the shock here and goes right under the seat back into the wiring harness where it starts, and from behind you can barely tell it's even there. So I'm really happy with how that looks. Let's move up to the handlebars. Handlebars are XR650L original equipment. Handlebars have been chopped 1 inch to kind of narrow them up a little bit, because originally they were quite wide. The bar end mirrors are from Amazon. I don't recall the brand name for those. Hand grips are Vans X-Colt. The controls, the lever controls here are MZS hand controls, including the brake master cylinder. These come in a set, and they look fantastic. They come in all different colors. I think the silver really works with the color scheme on this bike. These little mirror plugs were custom made for me by a follower up in Canada. He has a machine shop. I screwed up the name last time, so I'm just going to put it up on the screen for you if you're interested in seeing more of his work. Those were complimentary, and I really appreciate it, because I think they really kind of tie the controls together. They look nice. Speedometer is a Trailtech Endurance 2. This is a computer that will actually register trip and odometer miles. As you can see, I've got 187 miles on this since I built it, and my max speed was 69, and I hit that today. I really like how that looks. I did position it so that it kind of blends in with the upper triple clamp, so from behind you can't actually see it very well, but that's by design. I didn't want something sticking up off the bars where it was too obnoxious. I wanted things to blend in, because originally I didn't want to run any gauges up here, but I wanted to use the Trailtech Endurance to register odometer miles, and it's a lot easier just to mount it up front than it is to run those wires back here and hide it somewhere. So moving back, this is a Frisco style Sportster tank. It is designed to mount on top of the frame with a very narrow tunnel here. I have it mounted on top of some Dimebag skateboard bushings with leather washers on top to protect the finish. Again, powder coat is laser emerald from Prismatic Powders. Cap is plastic, it's vented, so I don't have any vacuum lock problems. Petcock is actually a 3-position with a reserve. There's a clear fuel line here, which I've discovered clear fuel lines they don't get along well with actual fuel. If you leave gas in here, this line turns that color. So like you're seeing gas in there, but you're also seeing largely it's the color of the tube now. So that may change depending on how I feel about it. Choke is a plunger style choke mounted directly to the carb. That way I get it off the handlebars. The intake here has been custom made out of PVC and fittings to allow me to tie in the crankcase breather hose to the actual air intake. That's the way the original box was designed, and wanted to keep that method. A lot of guys will just mount a filter right here, but you run the risk of clogging it with engine oil, and that's no good. It just sacrifices reliability, and I really wanted to be able to ride this bike, so I came up with a solution that would allow me to really never have an issue. Electronics have all been chopped and tucked behind the intake here. As you can see, this is all clear. You could put your whole arm through there. This is probably the hardest part of the build, to be honest. Neutral and kickstand lights have been mounted in the frame to existing frame holes. These are the existing lenses that were in the original speedometer housing, and they fit here perfectly, so that's where they have been living. Seat has been remounted. Originally I had it bolted with one bolt right here. I've moved it back, and I'm using a 1/8" flat bar bolted twice here and twice under the seat to keep it in place. And again, that is shimmed with one of the dime bag skateboard bushings. And I may end up putting bushings under the back of the seat here to try to dampen some more vibration. Rear fender is a ribbed 4-inch wide chopper style fender from I want to say Throttle Addiction. I've cut it down a little bit shorter down here. I don't know if you can see that. Again, leather washers. The mounts bolting it to the frame were handmade by me. These are all been painted black and clear coated for durability. Battery cover here is from Bobber Cycle Co. I think that's the name of the place. The ignition has been slipped inside of a hole here. It's kind of a press fit, so it doesn't really go anywhere, but it's not bolted in. It's slipped right behind the fuse box in this bolt, and it's a really nice little snug spot for that to go. Down here is a registration tube. It's a vintage registration tube, so I can carry my registration and insurance. I don't have to worry about sticking that in my pocket every time I ride. Up front here I've got 2 switches mounted here. This is the starter switch, and this is the headlight switch. I've got a position for low beam, high beam, and the middle position is off. Although in retrospect, probably could have got away with just hardwiring that headlight on, but I didn't know if the bike would like to have that powered off when it started, or how that was going to work. So turns out it doesn't care, so you can kind of just leave it in the high beam position and it's fine. Foot pegs here, I've removed the rubber boot, put grip tape on them, skateboard grip tape. They do cause a bit of vibration, but they look cool. Pipes have been wrapped black. I never did put silicone on them. I figure down the road if I want to, I'll do that. I just don't really want to take them off right now, so I've just been running them. So you can see some of the black has been fading, but it is what it is. Ultimately, I'd love to have a full custom exhaust, something that's not wrapped at all, but you know, maybe comes out to have a single-sided exhaust exit. The mufflers are like Cherry Bomb style. I got those in my shop in Wisconsin off eBay. They sound pretty good. I'm starting to get used to the sound. When I initially test rode this, I did complain a little bit about it, but that's kind of because I wasn't used to it. I think that's mostly it. So let's take this thing for a ride, and I'll talk more about its riding characteristics. Oh, originally, maybe in the last video, I did mention I was thinking about putting a steering dampener on this, and I had ordered a OEM steering dampener from a GSX R600. I was going to bolt it right here and then attach it to the fork. The only reason I haven't done that is because I discovered, oops, I forgot I was on a rock. The only reason I haven't done that is because I discovered the bars won't go full lock without reaching the end of the travel for the dampener, and I don't really want to blow the dampener up. every time I hit full lock, which may never happen, I don't know. But I've just been reluctant to bolt it on yet because I don't want to have any issues. I don't know if I really need it anymore, and we'll discuss that in a minute when I'm riding. High beam on, choke is on. So when I first rode this thing, I was a little put off by its handling, and I mentioned that a lot in the video. So one thing I do want to point out is I've ridden this thing almost 200 miles now, just like commuting and doing little weekend test rides. And something I forgot is that fresh dual sport tires are really twitchy, and once they break in a little bit and you kind of wear down the middle track of the tire, the motorcycle will actually settle in to a nice, more stable handling characteristic, and that's kind of what's happened here. So I don't really think it needs a steering dampener anymore. You know, I did notice the problems I was having were on like 50-mile-an-hour sweeping turns, which is just, honestly, I don't think that's what a Rebel is for anyway. But I've just been riding this thing around town, and I gotta admit, I don't think I've had this much fun on a motorcycle in years. It's just, it's so low to the ground and it's so lightweight that, like, it's almost like riding, it really is like riding a bicycle, you know? It just feels like anything I try to do with it, it's gonna be fine. And it really allows you to ride it hard and enjoy yourself more. But the exhaust note, it is pretty loud, but I've kind of gotten used to it. I'm not overly concerned about getting baffles in there anymore. I may still attempt doing that, but right now I'm kind of over it. Jetting, because I know people are going to ask me about jetting. It's pretty good. Like, it's fine most of the time, but now that I've actually been riding it at length, I've found some issues. And the main one I actually encountered earlier today, under sustained throttle for a long period of time, sometimes it'll just cut out. Like, power will just cut out. Like, the lean condition gets so much that, like, it just doesn't combust the fuel. And that's not good. So I just turned the choke off there. I am gonna have to rejet this pretty quick so I can get a better impression of how the engine is gonna be working with this intake. But, like, as you can see right now, it's fine. Like, I'm on stock jetting with a pod filter and nothing, there's no drama. It runs fine. I did just turn off the choke, so that was helping it. It's kind of fun to experiment though, you know, try to tune them, but I mean, it runs good enough that I can commute on it without any issues. So another thing is, like, I've never ridden something that's this easy to rev match on. And maybe that's because it's a Rebel, it's a 250. But, like, when I'm downshifting, it is so nice to just get a perfect rev match every time. You really feel like you're a master of the motorcycle. And that's kind of a topic I want to talk about, but probably in another video. It's like why I think 250s are so fun. The guy's wearing pajama pants and sandals. On decel, it, like, pops and cracks, and I freaking love it. Although I think that's just because it's so lean. Oh my gosh, I was joking with my wife and I was saying I think this bike is kind of like a Ricer Honda Civic right now. It makes a ton of ruckus, but it barely breaks the speed limit. And that's exactly what I like about it. Something I think I finally admitted to myself is that I really like low displacement motorcycles. It's really just because they just have a nice character to them. They're easy, they're carefree, and they're not trying to be anything, but they're not. You can ride them around, rip them around, go like push them to their limit, and be like, well, that was neat, because you know you're not going to break the sound barrier. You're not going to ride around the world off-road. You know, they're it's just a good time for the sake of a good time, and that's why I like it. It's fun. All right, let's give it everything right here. Oh. Pop, pop, crack, crack, crack. Oh my gosh. I don't want to talk crap because like this thing is perfect. I am in love with this motorcycle, and I think everybody in my life right now is just tired of me talking about it because I'm just so excited that it's better than what I hoped. You know, I was just really worried it was gonna suck. But my vision for it, as well as the inspiration for it, is really it's come together well. I don't know, I'm not a motorcyclist that is loyal to any particular thing. I'm not loyal to a brand, even though I have owned a lot of Hondas. I'm not loyal to a type of motorcycle. I ride these things because they go vroom vroom and they make me happy. Like, that is really it. So like, I will ride anything if I think it looks cool. Oh, you know what? I have an idea. I was going to tell you guys about when I took this off-road to take pictures, but then I just realized we can take it off-road. You ready? This is going to be rough, and we're going to hate it. I discovered when I did this last week that the suspension on this motorcycle is just makes off-roading almost unbearable. Regardless of what the tires are willing to grip. This surface right here is about as good as it gets. Like, I took this thing over an overpass to take pictures, and the rocky part of it was just brutal. I had to like walk this thing almost, and then I got into sand, and this thing was hopeless in the sand. I virtually had to push through the sand, which is real difficult when your legs are this close to the ground. I think we joked about taking it camping, or I thought that would actually be neat, but I don't think I'm going to do that now. Sorry guys, and the reason I'm not going to do it is road surface is difficult to deal with in most cases, especially where I ride the XR, but also I don't want this motorcycle to get that dirty, which I know you guys probably didn't want to hear, but I put a lot of work into this and it looks really nice, and once something gets dusty, you can never get the dust out of it. Like, if you take this seat off of your XR and just look at all the wiring in there, like, it's caked. It's always going to be caked. Like, in order to clean that, it has to be fully disassembled, and even then, like, you're probably still going to see spots of dirt. So, like, I just don't really want this to get that dirty. That'll be for the next owner, if they want to do that with it. If you want to buy this thing, I suppose everything's for sale. Although I was hoping to ride it all summer. Oh my gosh. I'm in love with it, guys. I'm really happy with this. I know nobody expected me to do something like this on the channel, but I gotta do what makes me happy, and it's like, at this point, I love the XR. Like, I'm not selling it, don't worry. I have taken the stickers off of it, and I've started to kind of clean it up, because after seeing how shiny and clean this is, I kind of want the XR to feel like that. So I'm trying to think of what I'm going to do to that bike if I do something else. Don't worry, I'm not going to chop it up. Although I have some ideas. If I can get a good deal on another XR, I had some ideas to do another build with an XR and try to turn it into some kind of a sport bike type of thing, like a super cafe racer XR thing. I don't know. It'd be cool if I could do that with an XR 650R. Make it street legal. I wouldn't feel as bad about deleting the odometer because it doesn't have an odometer. It's actually a dirt bike. But
yeah. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this build. I took a ton of beautiful photos. They're all going to be on my Instagram, so if you guys want to see those, please head over to the Instagram page. It's Fridays_88. And yeah, I'm probably going to do some more photo shoots with it when time permits. So I'm going to do another vlog with this because I have some, I have a topic I want to discuss about it, on why I think 250s are underrated, to be honest. You know, I don't want to do it in this video because this video is already too long. It's just like, I've been riding for 15 years now, almost, and I've ridden everything, and there's a reason I like this. So check out the next video on this when I discuss it, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching, guys.